So we don't typically do tons of manual production work unless it's a really weird location, or it's simple enough and it's 50 pieces, it's a one color, one stroke. We might do the manual. We mostly use the manual for test printing and major specialty applications. I'll show you one of those in a second, but this happens to be a sleeve. Let's pretend it was 50 pieces. Let's say it was 24 pieces and I didn't have time to order transfers, because we can also do some transfers too that I'll show you as well. So I need to get this done. So I had to make a screen for it. Yeah. So I've already marked my palette. I could use lasers here as well, but I've marked my palette. It's a one color. And apparently I marked my palette down here. So a lot of people run wooden squeegees for manual squeegees. The same rules apply for this. They're so much easier to clean than a wooden squeegee. And you see we still got our triple durometer squeegee in there that's going to match our automatic as well, because we'll run the fronts and backs maybe on the auto, but because it's a sleeve, we'll run them here. So I flood just like the auto would, and then I print just like the manual would. So that's not super opaque. So what I'm going to do is put that under our flash unit for a second, give it a flash. And that should dry it just to the touch, and it did. I'll come back over again, call it a print flash print. See it break nice and clean out of there. Now that's a super bright white on the sleeve. We're ready to drop that through onto the manual. So we've got a 400 micron stencil on a 102 at 45 newtons. So if you look closely, that stencil is super thick compared to a regular stencil like this. And if you're doing 400 micron stencil with that small of imagery, I don't have a squeegee. How about that? So we might call this like a high density. There we are. Technique. And because that stencil is so thick, it's going to require some extra flooding. So I'll flood it with some pretty good pressure 3 different times. And now you can see that there's ink starting to kind of fall through those pillars. And I'll just check my, and I've got a high amount off contact just so that breaks nice and clean off of there. So those are elevated slightly.
Maybe that's how we fix it.
I was hoping to get a little more contrast out of that.
That works. Yeah,
you got it?
You can
okay.
still see it, yep.
So I'm going to hit that with a quick flash to dry it to the touch. Now we've got a little texture going on there, and we'll just finish it out with our second pass. And this one I'm only doing a couple of floods. And now that's ready to go down the dryer, and we've got a pretty good amount of doming on those. When it runs down the dryer, right now they look like a little bit of columns. When they go down the dryer, they'll dome, and we'll get little. So if you can imagine it for like beads of water, it's a really clever effect for a beer can with the ice and water on the sides. We do that a lot.